We had this vision ahead of us that we want to see this dynamic Muslim community that is comfortable with itself, proud of its heritage and background, and looking forward to the future as British Muslims and contributing to the society that we live in. Because as Muslims, it's not just about us, it's about human beings, it's about helping others who are in need regardless of their background.
But for us at An-Nisa, we believe that education is about everything that you do. It's about being informed, it's about having choices and opportunities, it's about improving yourself, it's about doing things in your life that enhances your life and that of those around you. We were predominantly second generation British Muslims, and we grew up sort of in a vacuum, lack of basically anything to do with social welfare. So An-Nisa set up to look at the whole issue of the Muslim family, to reconnect the Muslim family, to establish community networks.
We come from many different countries and we bring in cultures that we are proud of and which enhance us. But we are in a new situation in this country where we are geographically thousands of miles away from where we originate. And we need to look at our needs based on the reality that we have in this country.
An-Nisa was a pioneer in the debate to develop a viable British and Muslim identity in this country. The reason why they argued for it was that faith-based values were more flexible in contextualising and giving meaning and significance to changed lives in Britain in the post-migration context.
But I think even today, people actually are not focusing on what the real issue is in order to... If we argue that radicalisation now is a reality and it's a product of a mixture of things, but the response to it has been this very sort of reactionary, defensive kind of approach, whereas what we've struggled to get government and service providers to take on board, and the Muslim community, is that sometimes you have to step back and you have to do prevention work.
The question of faith to be in the census has meant that we're not actually getting some stats, and it's statistics only that you need in order to make service providers and the government listen, because without numbers they don't listen, because what we've been telling them is what we've been experiencing in our work, that we know that the Muslim community is in meltdown.
Yeah, we've done some really useful work. Most recently, Humaira Khan from the An-Nisa Society wrote a really excellent guide for people working in the family sector, working with Muslim fathers. So she brought obviously her knowledge of Islam, but also her knowledge of working with families to that. And in partnership with us, we were able to bring very specific knowledge about fatherhood. One is a dialogue with professionals, another is a dialogue with ordinary people living in the community. And what we see is an organisation capable of doing both of those things.
I think the kind of pioneering work that An-Nisa has done in terms of developing and promoting a Muslim voluntary and community sector is now needed more than ever in a post-9/11, post-7/7 era where Islam and Muslims have become the top story.
The type of help that An-Nisa gives, it's so great and it's so valuable to the community, not only the Muslim community, I think the other community in UK.
Muslims nowadays seem to feel that there are fixed roles for men and women. Of course, I mean, there are biological roles. Beyond that, there isn't anything like that that I can see in the Islamic sources, basically. No? So how do we use that freedom to create something that can work?
If there's one thing about An-Nisa Society, the women have been consistent in their analysis of the situation that faces us as British Muslims, whether it's Islamophobia or it's fighting race-based policies, whether it's family, whether it's gender relations.
Other than the work with the community generally speaking, I remember when we first set up the supplementary school in 1986, we always felt that regardless of whatever problems we face as adults, we wanted to give a new generation a better start.
For people, for me, I find fasting is not only a good experience for Muslims, but it's a good experience for non-Muslims, as they also get to learn about what fasting really is. Some people will get really confused about why we do it and how we do it.
What they found really attractive about fasting was how you have to, restrain yourself from doing certain things and hold your tongue when you're saying things and behave in an appropriate way. And just the whole lessons you learn from fasting, which you can carry on when you're not fasting.
I think for my mum especially, she wanted us to sort of have a very strong Islamic identity. And I think this place offered us that, in that you had your sort of mainstream education, you had your sort of friends from different cultures and different backgrounds, but coming here you then had your own sort of Muslim community, and it just gave you that chance to sort of build links when you were younger. And there's a lot of friends I have from when I started here at 5-6 that I'm still very close to. So I think it was just constructing that identity and that security, knowing that you can go to school, you can do what you have to, but you're still Muslim at heart, and just establishing that.
So you're looking at an incredibly globalized demographic, and that's what makes this young community so interesting. In many ways, young Muslims in Britain today are amongst the most aware and politicized young generation in British history. So I think the challenges that these young Muslims face are not just the challenges that all young people face, but they're dealing with fundamental questions of identity, of who they are and how they belong. And for many of them, even those who aren't practicing their religion in an active way, feel that Islam and being Muslim is an important part of who they are. And they act in the world in a way that they hope will be consistent with the principles and ethics and the morals of their faith.
See, really, what really culminates in all the work we do really is the development of a new generation who have a new confidence, who are very much from this country, but who are also benefiting from the wealth of a variety of Muslim cultures, as well as what is posited from this society as a whole.
I think the first important thing is that they should be very proud of who they are and have self-esteem and self-confidence and feel good about being Muslims. That's the most important thing, because once they leave, they can go away and they can learn more, they can go further, but they've got a good grounding.
You really need to be comfortable with yourself and really, really like yourself. If I need to wake up tomorrow morning and do the round of meetings that I did over the last few weeks, then I need to say I really like myself.
I feel very uncomfortable telling you this because I don't like bragging about myself, but I did academically very well in the 4 years that I did a sports science degree.
One of the things that I think is really a challenge facing the Muslim community is that we're at a time of rapid social change. Most Muslim communities are migrant communities, so things that worked back home in their context don't work in the same way, and they're exposed to a whole other set of influences. So we're having to work out the principles of Islam that are important and how we can actually instill them in our lives.
I think it's a very, very good, powerful indication. Some of the work that An-Nisa has done, it's a very powerful indication that women do contribute, that women are well educated, and their voices are the rational voices of the community.